Greetings, folks. You should have this Illustrator type elements file that you should have downloaded already. If you haven't, I'll give you a moment to go grab that. And as you get into here, you're going to notice there's 9 boxes hanging out. There's also one way up here. What does this say? These are our directions. We're going to create a design that's going to represent our element and principle, and we're going to be using text for that. So we have one color of text with a white background. We have 2 letters that we can use, and our font is going to be Myriad Pro. It's going to be the default typeface. We're not going to add fanciness. We're not going to add a stroke. We're not going to add effects. We're not going to add brushes. And we might need to do some outlines for this, and I'll show you what that kind of looks like next. So inside of here, we're going to look at some layers, and that's going to be over here. This is going to be our layers palette. And if you're using just traditional essentials, that also might be kicking around up at the top of your screen, or if it's just not, window layers will be there. So I have a few things on here. I have a background that's on top of everything that if I hit this eyeball, this is gonna go away, revealing some stuff back there. So this is kind of just covering some of these, and I'll show you why that's happening in a second. But if I hit the eyeball, it will hide it, and some of these are locked. My directions are locked. My directions will go away. Notice how the text kind of went away here. And then I have another layer of your work. This is the layer you're going to be working on. If I try to, make squares or something while I'm on the background layer, it won't let me. If I do it on directions, it won't let me. So if we're in your work, you can make those kind of things. Now we're just going to use typography for this. And you can use 1 or 2 letters. And what our goals are going to be is we're going to try to make texture, space, line, pattern, and movement with some basic 2-letter combinations and repetition. There's also some other ones where you'll pick your own element and principle of graphic design. So let's do, let's do maybe a pattern to start. That looks pretty like a good one to start with here. So as I were to get in here, if I wanted to use 1 letter, if you remember from our free play assignment, I could click on the screen and just pick a letter to use. Like an S or something. That's what I'd recommend. I would not be dragging boxes for stuff inside of this assignment. I would just click on the screen. We are going to use Myriad Pro. Myriad Pro is the default typeface for these ones. I can adjust the size, so I could be clicking a larger here. I also can hold one of these edges, and as long as I hold shift, it'll be okay to kind of scale these. But please don't not hold shift and start squashing and stretching this. Bad moves for text. So if you're going to scale like this, always hold shift, or just move it way up here, and you be in charge of what size that's going to be. Now with pattern, we're going to do some odd things, and once you have kind of a text you like, we're going to be duplicating this. And how I do that is I hold Option on the screen and I can drag these. So if I hold Option, that's like me being able to duplicate stuff. And what I kind of like to do is just keep the original off my page just for a second, and I work with this one here. This is still editable. We can still change some stuff. To make it not editable, type Create Outlines. That's what I'm going to hit. And you'll notice when I hit this button, the box is going to go away. This is just going to be kind of points at that point. So this is kind of like one of our brushes or one of our paths or something like that. Now my goal is going to be to make pattern here, and I can do that a few ways. But things I'd like to show you are if I hit Option, I can actually duplicate this. And if I hold it, maybe right here. This looks like a good start, because my next spot is I'm going to hit Command D. Object transform, transform again. Command D. It's going to do that same duplicate again. And if I hit that more than once, this is going to start making kind of pattern elements, What if I grabbed these and I hit Option and I brought this down a little bit? Ooh, that's kind of cool. Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. Now, do I have a pattern necessarily? I don't know. I more or less just have these little pieces that are here. So let's undo a little bit. Maybe I did these too close. So I'm holding Option, and you can see my mouse kind of changes. We'll go maybe like this far down now. And we'll do Command D to do it again, Command D to do it again, Command D to do it again. And this has a little bit more patterny kind of elements, you know, going on here. It's almost like a space, actually. This might even be a better kind of use for space. So this was one S that I chose. Now I could pick a different color, or a different, excuse me, not a different color, a different piece of text if I wanted to. You know, I could bring an L into this and do a little bit more of a pattern. Now, if we look at our directions, way up here, you can use one color text. So if you don't want black, you could pick a color, but we only get one of those colors. We can choose up to 2 letters. I could make this just with 1. We are going to use our default typeface, and we're again not going to use any of those effects. I made create outlines, that's what I showed you, and I was holding Alt Option to drag into the duplicate here. Maybe I even changed this for you because ours is Option. You know? And I was Command D'ing or Object Transform again to duplicate stuff. So that is kind of there for you. Now, if I wanted to go a little bit harder on this, let's do I don't know, like a Y, because I can just do that duplicate stuff, you know, and then Command D, and then this will, I don't know, come down here and Command D. I didn't duplicate it. Got to make sure it duplicates, and then Command D, and I'm making some shapes happen. But if we go a little bit different tool, let's do Type Create Outlines. And I'm going to use this rotation tool. So this is 2 below your rectangle. And if I just click and drag, this will rotate around an axis. So wherever I clicked first, that's going to rotate around that axis. This gets fun if you option click in an area. So I option clicked here, you can kind of see it, right? If I say, let's move this 15 degrees, it's going to show me a little bit, maybe even 45 degrees. So it's a little bit more. And we hit copy. So there's 2 of them. I can Command D that as well. So this can kind of go around. I could grab all of this. I don't know, do we rotate that too? Yeah, let's do that. Let's rotate, option, click, and maybe like a 50 or 20 degree. We'll copy, and we'll go around that. Like, look at that. Look what we're starting to create here. So there's a lot more, and this is just from letters, right? So there's a lot more stuff that's kind of working in here. We could delete a chunk. You know, if I'm working on an area of this that doesn't need symmetry, or if I want to make it a little bit asymmetrical, I could do that. I could just rotate these little pieces around and do some things. I also could do those that keep doing that rotation tool and do something different, and it'll get really dense really fast, maybe a little too dense. Kind of starts to make like snowflake things. But just so you can see this from scratch, text tool, pick your letter, maybe you know, type, create outlines, rotation tool, option click where you want it to rotate around. I pick the degrees, and it will, if I have preview selected, it'll show me that preview. I hit copy, and then I Command D that. If I keep going, it'll go all the way around. And I can even take that, this whole thing, this whole mess of things, if I use those, you know, selection arrow, and I could duplicate that just by myself. I could Command D those things, or I could take this whole chunk and rotate it around stuff if I wanted to. And, you know, craziness can ensue, but things I'd watch out for, you know, we don't want it so dense, you know? We don't want it so dense. And our goal is going to be to start representing texture, space, line, and pattern and movement with some of these kind of duplication text things. below here, I also have you picking some of your own elements and your own principles to kind of make some of these. So you'll be in control of Illustrator by the time we end this one, all right? Hope this gave you some good heads up of some new tools and some new things. When we're done here, yeah, we're gonna do a save as. We're gonna save this, put it in your Google Drive, put it in all those other things, all right? See ya.